Hello, everybody. I am live. I am inviting. I always forget how to do this. Okay. Invite Nick. Nick Jonas? No, not Nick Jonas. I bet $5 he's going to complain that I'm early. But then he's always complaining I'm late. So let's see. Happy holiday weekend, everybody. Hope everybody's having a good week up until Christmas, leading up to Christmas. I hope you get everything you asked for on your Santa's list. And if not, you're about to go hunting for Santa. Oh, he said send it again. All right, I'm sending it again. Watch, I bet she's going to complain unless he's watching it right now. And he's not. This is just like Nick unable to join. Why is Nick unable to join? Okay, Nick, you joined the chat. Why aren't you in it? Let's see. Invite again. There he is.
Bam! Bam!
I
Merry
felt like
Christmas.
I felt like we were playing Xbox Live for a second.
Xbox servers.
So I'll send the invite again. What's up, man? I see you rocking the hat, the Santa hat.
Heck yeah, man. We're only 5 days away. I'm excited.
We are, man.
I'm broke, but I'm excited.
All right. Well, if everybody was betting, then I would have lost because I said I bet you guys $5 he's gonna complain that I'm early this time. And he's usually complaining that I'm late.
You are usually late. You are usually late. And then Antonia goes, "Oh, isn't your thing at 7?" I go, "It's at 7:30." And then she showed me the story and goes, "It says 7." And that's when I sent you the text. Hey man, we said 7:30.
That's hilarious.
It's all good. It's all good. I'm glad we're here.
So let's get to it, everybody. So welcome to Team Bandwagon.
Where it is okay to jump ship,
but it's not okay to lose.
Jump on Team Bandwagon and never lose again.
Again.
Never lose again.
Never lose again. What's happening, everybody? This is, you know what? I did the math. I forgot, though. I did the math. It was episode 50? I think it was episode 50.
We're not past 50?
Last week. Because we were like, hey, what episode are we on? And so I went back and looked at it, and it was episode 50.
The big 5-0. We didn't even count it.
Yeah, right? And we were just like, That's how you know you're like, you're doing stuff, where you don't, I won't say when you don't care, but at the same time, that's not like our forefront, like, oh, let's get to, it's just.
You're on the bandwagon. You're just here for the ride.
Right. We just rolling.
We don't do milestones.
We don't do miles, we just.
Nobody's a Celtic fan because they have 17 championships.
Some people are.
I don't know.
I like how we got all serious when we brought up the Celtics.
He said,
All right, man. So let's jump into it, man. The last night was, I don't want to say it was a heartbreaker, but it was just frustrating to see us lose to the Bulls. And not just lose, but freaking Alex Caruso cooked us, bro. That dude was shaking and baking us in the last quarter, bro. And it was just frustrating. It was frustrating, none the least. But
my dude's underrated.
Alex Caruso?
Yes.
Maybe like 3 years ago.
He showed you last night. It wasn't 3 years ago.
No, you say he's underrated. I don't think he's underrated anymore. I think people know who he is now.
I mean, people know who he is, but you know what I mean? He's not the name that comes to mind when you say to close out a game.
True.
He deserves a little more credit is all I'm saying. You're right in the sense that people do know who he is, and I am glad he deserves that respect. I think he deserves a little more. Is all I'm
I
saying.
think I think Laker fans know, I wouldn't say know more, but appreciate him a little bit more than other teams.
Right.
But yeah, that Alex Caruso is nice, man. He's nice, and I'm thinking. I know there was a reason why we got rid of him, but I don't think we should have. He wanted to get paid.
Well, you had Russell Westbrook, Anthony Davis, LeBron James. They've got all these big contracts. They didn't want to think about signing some underling. Oh, we got Russell Westbrook. We don't need Alex Caruso. The thing that makes me upset is he talked about how he was willing to take a pay cut to come back, and they still said, "No, we don't need you." That bothers me. It really does.
Yeah,
He gave a lot to the Lakers. I think you give a guy like that who's willing to come back for a little less than what he probably deserves. You give him some loyalty money, especially the fact that you don't have to give him a max contract. They should have brought him back. It was
yeah, yeah. It was a mistake, huge mistake. But I know who they did bring back. Your boy Isaiah Thomas, right?
woo woo! I've been telling Jamal for years, bring Isaiah back. Bring Isaiah back.
Oh my
Bring
God,
Isaiah back.
you are on that dude's bandwagon, man, and
All
that's cool.
day.
That's fun to see. Like you try to convince me. I'm still not convinced. Like what he did with the Celtics was pretty cool, but as I said at that time, and I still stand by my statement. It was a fluke, like he did his thing, he Jeremy Lin'd it, and
He made what? 2 All-Star teams? That's not Jeremy Lin. Jeremy Lin didn't make 1.
okay. I'm not saying that he's not great, but I'm saying what he did wasn't sustainable as far as what he was doing for the Celtics.
Here's where I'll agree with you, and this doesn't happen very often, but I am agreeing with you in the sense that it takes a coach like Brad Stevens to understand Isaiah Thomas's talents and understand what he's good at and understand his weakness and create an offense where he can be great. Not every coach can do that. Isaiah Thomas belongs in the NBA, but he belongs on the right team.
Gotcha. Well, so is he the hope of the Lakers?
No, absolutely not. But I do think they should keep him. One of the biggest thing I think this team struggles with is outside shooting, and Isaiah Thomas can really help with that.
I got you. So, since we're on the Lakers, do you think it's a good idea to trade? As I'm saying, this is hilarious. AD for somebody, just because how much he's been parked on the bench and how accident prone he is.
Well, this has been my worry since Anthony Davis became a household name in the league.
My worry too.
Yeah, right. He's been a phenomenal player for a long time, but he's injury prone. He has been since he came into the league, and it's really worrisome. And I remember the Lakers were talking about getting him like his 3rd year into the league. Now that he's finally here, we're Laker fans who maybe didn't pay attention to the Pelicans that closely. This is a problem he's always had, is he cannot stay healthy. He's toughing it out. I'll give him some credit. He's trying to play through these injuries, but it is affecting his gameplay. You can't be the best big man in the league, which some argue that he is, when you're not healthy. And it's a struggle, and it's going to affect the Lakers because at this point in his career, he is more important to the Lakers than LeBron James. And so, therefore, if he's not healthy or he's not playing well or he's not playing at all, it's going to hurt the Lakers more than it's going to help them. That being said, he's so good to say, yeah, trade him, see what you can get for him because he's arguably a top 5 player in the NBA right now. So what can you really get for him? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're not going to get a top 5 player in the NBA. It's not like the Nets are going to give up Kevin Durant or the Warriors are going to give up Steph Curry. What can you get for a guy like Anthony Davis? You can't take 5 first-round draft picks. The Lakers are not that team. They want to win a championship now. So that being said, my argument is in a standby no, but I can see the argument. But there has to be a, diamond package for Anthony Davis. Otherwise, the answer is absolutely not.
I got you. It definitely has to be somebody with some outside shooting.
Yes.
For sure.
Yes.
That's like number 1 on the list.
What is he shooting? 28% from 3?
Your guess is as good as mine. You're the numbers guy.
Something like that.
Yeah, yeah. When they shoot it, that's a bucket, or nah, that's not going in. And I'm usually right if I can see
Depends on who's shooting.
it. True. All right, so now it's time to some redemption for your comments last week on was it last week? 2 weeks ago?
2 weeks
Last
ago,
episode.
2 or 3 weeks ago, whatever it was.
Last episode. You said, and I quote, Chris Paul is a top
Yes.
five point guard
Yes.
all time.
Yes.
All time.
Yes.
All dead or alive.
Yes.
All right, let's see your list, man.
Okay, I'm just gonna give it to you off the top of my head. I even did some research today to make sure I didn't miss any blunders. Like, man, was this a bad call? Did I forget about somebody? Did I
Wait, wait,
not
wait,
put
wait,
some...
wait, wait, wait. So I'm gonna give you a chance to say like, "Hey, I messed up," and I
Nope.
won't no. All right, go
I
ahead, man.
stand by my statements. Like I said, I did some homework. Like, did I mess up? Did I forget about whatever? The only player that I would say someone might argue with me is maybe Pete Maravich or Isaiah Thomas. Isaiah Thomas is not the old Isaiah Thomas. The Pistons Isaiah Thomas is not better than Chris Paul, in my opinion. Pete Maravich didn't play long enough in the league. He could have been one of the greatest players of all time. But here's my list, and in no particular order, because we'll be here all day if we say who wins in what order. Okay?
I agree with that.
So here we go. Magic Johnson, obviously. John
Obviously.
Stockton, league record holder in assists of all time. Oscar Robertson, Mr. Triple-Double. Guy could do everything, but also played point guard. Okay? Jason Kidd, also another triple-double average type of player, did everything on the floor. Literally said in Oakland, the kids never passed him the ball. That's why he ended up playing point guard. Great passer. And Chris Paul, himself, the man, the myth, the legend, who would have not spent 6 years with the Clippers, would probably have a championship by now. Chris Paul, top 5 point guards all time. That's my list.
Okay.
Okay, give me a couple names, man. Who's better than that list?
All right. Again, no particular order. I would have gone with Oscar Robinson. I just haven't really. Only time I've really heard his name come up is when Russell Westbrook was breaking all these records. It's like Oscar Robinson had all these records, and I really haven't really like grew up like, oh, I'm gonna be like Oscar Robinson, because I really haven't heard of him. But he's nice though. He's nice. I've seen some of his footage. So let's go with Curry, Steph Curry, no particular order. Magic Johnson, the old Isaiah Thomas, not the new Isaiah Thomas.
Not the new one. I got you. I told you. I think he's arguably up there.
Yeah. Okay. Tony Parker. Steve Nash. John Stockton. Chauncey Billups. Jason Kidd. Let's go with Gary Payton the Glove and AI. I have all those players.
AI is not a point guard.
AI wasn't.
No, he's a shooting guard, bro.
You still little for him to be a shooting guard, man.
Yeah, but he was a shooting guard. He was a shooting guard.
Serious?
Yeah, he was shooting guards. Yes, he brought the ball up a lot because of how terrible his team was, but he was not a point guard. Look at his assist average. Look how he was looking for, right? He was not a point guard. I can get why people would try to argue that he was, but remember, positions mattered a little bit more back then, right? Where the position he was on the floor and things like that. He was a shooting guard.
Okay. All right. Well, minus Isaiah.
So that puts Chris
AI.
Paul at number 9 for you of all time.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I'm pretty sure I can find one more to keep out of.
You probably could, and all those names are nice. I'm going to say those are some great basketball players. There's some great point guards, and I think there's an argument to be made for every single one of them, except Tony Parker. I think that's your worst take of all time.
Why do you?
I think it's your worst take of all time.
Are you serious, Tony Parker?
Tony Parker is not a top 10 point guard.
Tony Parker used to hoop, bro.
But he is not a top 10 point guard in the league.
Okay, so back in the day, Spurs versus Lakers matchups, you never like hope Tony Parker get hurt or like misses a layup as he's going in with that freaking nice
You know
left hand
why?
layup.
Because you know how flopping became famous in the NBA was Tony Parker. Tony Parker made flopping a thing in the
Oh
NBA.
wait, wait,
That
wait,
is the
wait,
only
wait,
reason I
wait,
couldn't
wait,
stand
wait,
him as much as I
wait,
did.
wait, 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 wait. So Tony Parker is a bigger flopper than Chris Paul. Is that what you're telling
Yo,
me?
100%.
Oh
A
no, Chris
hundred
Paul.
percent.
Chris Paul is the biggest flop. I thought that's why I don't really. Maybe your
Oh,
sentiment
dude.
for Tony Parker is the same sentiment I have for Chris Paul.
Man, Tony Parker is the worst flopper of all time.
Chris Paul is the worst flopper of all time, bro.
Oh, dude.
We're gonna have another list, the biggest floppers of all
The
time.
biggest floppers. That's the next episode. Who's the biggest floppers? I give you mine right now. Blake Griffin, LeBron James, Tony Parker, James Harden, and I got to think of one more. You know what? Vlade Divac. I don't even know why I hesitated. Vlade Divac.
Yeah, yeah. You know what? I'm gonna need some time to think of that.
Okay,
Think of
that's
that list.
cool.
That's what's up, man. That's a legit list though. That's a legit list. I'm happy to see you give Chris Paul some respect, but a lot of people, including myself, really don't give him that respect. He had some solid teams that he could have gone far, and everybody's like he's the point guard, but like one final appearance, two Western Conference appearance, and in your career, and I know how you're like always quick to say, don't judge records or what that, but he has some legit solid teams to help him go that far. And even when they made it with the Houston Rockets, against when they had the Warriors on the ropes, and then all of a sudden he just magically gets hurt, like
He had to
and
play. I will not argue about his softness. Dude needs to play through some injuries. He's missed way too many important games to injuries. That really, really bothers me. Okay.
yeah,
And toughness does count when it comes to being one of the top players of all time. I will not argue with that at all. I cannot deny his talent. I cannot deny what he could have done had he not played with so many toxic players. His relationship with Doc Rivers was very bad. And James Harden, as talented as he is, Chris Paul and him just were not on the same level. And James Harden seems to care a whole lot more than breaking records when it comes to shooting three-pointers than winning championships. So it really bothers me when it comes to James Harden, that whole thing. I think had Chris Paul come to the Lakers, he wins 2 championships easily. I don't like doing the shoulda, coulda, woulda, but Chris Paul has been in a lot of bad situations, and I compare him to Charles Barkley in that sense. Played for good teams, never played for championship caliber teams.
I agree. I agree. And just the way he flops really kind of gives a bad taste in my mouth. I feel for him. I feel bad for him, but at the same time, just I'm gonna find like a little flop video to put together for you, bro. It just is the little subtle things, and I know it's to advantage to help his team win. But at the same time, as a basketball fan, it's like, dude, just play the freaking game. Like, you know, I can see in like critical moments, but in the first quarter, you're doing this crap. Like, come on, man.
I understand, and I agree with you. You know me of all people. It's one of the reasons I don't like guys like Blake Griffin. I don't like the flopping, especially when it comes from big guys, right? I think that's why I'm a little harder on guys like Blake Griffin and Vlade Divac. You're big. You're almost 7 foot, or in Vlade's case, you are 7 foot, almost 300 pounds. You don't fall when Derek Fisher comes driving the lane against you. That's ridiculous. But I just maybe I'm blind to it because I've always liked Chris Paul. I don't feel that he's a flopper in the same sense that those guys. They all do it. Every NBA player did it from the 2010s probably till about right now to when the league started cracking down and handing down fines. It's kind of settled down a little bit. So I'm not denying that he's done it. I just don't feel that he was as bad as some of the other guys in the league. That's just my opinion.
I got you. And yeah, you don't do it like every game or often, but I think too also what kind of puts a bad taste in my mouth for Chris Paul is, the trade got blocked and it wasn't his fault, but
Right.
he ends up going to the Clippers, and just the whole clip. Anybody who played on the Clippers, I'm like, all right, you suck now. Like you don't exist to me anymore, and that's super unhealthy. So let's. So we did talk about a little bit of trade rumors as far as the NBA before we switch gears. I don't want to like kind of flip flop just because we're already here.
Right.
Um, So Ben Simmons, do you know where he's going?
I have no idea, man. This has gone on for so long, right? There was speculation he was going to get traded for Kyrie Irving because both guys wanted out of their situation and yada, yada, yada. And there was rumor he could go to the Warriors, which I actually think would have been a decent fit. I don't know how great it would have been because they already have a point guard who's one of, I don't know if you guys have heard of him before. Steph Curry, he might be one of the MVP. I don't know how Ben Simmons works. Um, but I don't really see a lot of other situations where he fits. Do the Heat need a point guard to put them over the top? I know we talked about them on our last podcast. Does that make them championship caliber? Um, Kuzma's played great on the Wizards, and the Wizards, I mentioned them a little bit. They might be a team to watch out for. Does Simmons put them over to the top? But what do you trade for him? For a guy who devalues himself by showing that he doesn't want to play in this current situation, that makes his trade value that much less significant. That makes it harder to trade for him. That makes his office go, well, we're not going to trade you because we don't get what we feel that you're worth. And then therefore he ends up sitting, he's suffering, his team is suffering, the NBA is suffering. It's a whole ugly situation. I wish he would have handled it better so that therefore he can go play on a championship caliber team or get another franchise pointed in the right direction.
I feel really bad for Doc Rivers in that situation. Doc
I
Rivers
would
is
if I
such.
didn't dislike the guy so much.
I got you. I I just think I think he's really like motivational. Like even when I hated the Clippers, I found one speech he gave like after like a game 5 loss, and like I even like printed out and put over like my computer at work. I'm like, dang, that's such a good speech. And
Ooh.
so and it's so as far as like the motivational, like, hey, like, what you aspire to be, or myself like coaching people or pushing people forward. I think he's really great at that. Um, but yeah, it's just as far as like basketball awareness, situational awareness. I think that yeah, that kind of hurts your chances of being like one of the greatest coaches of all time. Um, it's really hard. It's really hard to put Ben anywhere. Again, like you said, just his work ethic and his willingness to shoot the ball. Like, dude, we're in the NBA. Shoot the ball. Like, why are you so scared to shoot the ball? Like, you have a big man. He's gonna get you rebounds. And so, and there was a little bit of talks about this when he played at LSU, and they made it to the tournament, and he didn't play at all. And they're like, well, but he still went first round. I don't know if he went number one,
First pick.
first pick, and so now we're here again, and it's kind of one of those things when people show you who they are, believe them. And he showed us back then. And again, out of everybody, I feel bad for Doc Rivers in that situation, but you know, Embiid, he's the Sixers did a complete 180. Sixers was like the top contender. After LeBron left, it was kind of like, oh, is it the Sixers? And they had that that battle in the East. Was it the Celtics? Was it Milwaukee, or was it I don't think Miami was even like there yet. And it was
No,
the
they weren't.
Sixers. Yeah, and so now they just kind of just they fell all the way down the what is it, the ladder rung. Um, as far as trades go, I would love to see the Lakers trade, for some some pieces that they need, some outside shooting. I wouldn't mind seeing Westbrook go for somebody, who can handle the ball and shoot. I wouldn't mind seeing Anthony Davis go. Um, Other than that, I'm really kind of interested to see outside of those two teams, outside of the 76ers and the Lakers. I'm really excited to see kind of what's going to happen with Dame. I really want to know what's going to happen with Dame, and if he's going to go to a team that's going to like be like a legitimate team or not. Because if they do a trade and he goes to Sacramento, it's going to be like, what was all this for? But if he goes like Miami, or someplace where even like they won't trade him to Utah or somewhere in the West. I think he has to go east. And so, even if he goes to Boston, I think that'll be that'll be kind of cool. But I'm really excited to see where Dame goes. I think that's the biggest kind of
Jason
trade.
Tatum and Jaylen Brown obviously wouldn't be straight up, but some kind of package, right? You add in a player or two here for Damian Lillard, maybe some draft picks. But in general, the names that matter, Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown for Damian Lillard. Does it work?
Both of those dudes for him.
Yes.
But then when he gets there, who's going to be there? Marcus Smart to help him.
That's a good.
You have to keep. You got to keep one of those dudes. You
You're
know,
right.
you got to keep. You got to keep one of them.
They are saying
Jason.
one or the other, right? 'Cause
Yeah,
they're at a 500 record. They should be a lot better than the way they're playing right now. It's a little shameful the way they're playing, but yeah, one of them I think has to move, and you can see what you can get for them. Brad Stevens can make something out of nothing with whatever you send to him, but I think whatever they've tried to get going there with the talent that's been there, they got to mix it up.
I think straight up Jason Tatum for Dame is a good trade. If it's Brown, I think they need to throw in another player. You know, not just to say like he's awful or he's a second tier player. I just think Jason Tatum is just that much of a star that you have to throw in somebody with Brown.
Yeah, I think you're right.
All right, man. So speaking of stars, let's talk about Mr. Derrick Henry. And by the way, bro, my condolences, man. My condolences for the loss. We both lost this weekend, but I think you had a tougher loss. Hey, you guys should have totally had that, man.
Yeah, I know some of our players were complaining about the officiating, but when you lose to a team that's very, to me, below mediocre, they're not even mediocre.
Yeah,
I don't think the Steelers belong in the playoffs. I know they're pushing for a playoff run. They do not belong there. They're below mediocre. They're not good. Their defense is not good. Ben Roethlisberger's best days are behind him.
yep.
I do, and Najee Harris did not have a good game. Our defense in general did its job. But you put up 13 points in regulation, you deserve to lose. I don't care how well your defense played. The point is you put up only 13 points in regulation. You lost that game. The offense lost that game. That is totally on them. So it's very upsetting. Needless to say, obviously, if Derrick Henry was out there, the greatest running back in the league, anybody who's a Colts fan try to say it's Jonathan Taylor, you're lying to yourself. Get some help. Look at that Michael Jordan meme. Stop it. Get some help. Jonathan Taylor is phenomenal, and I say that as a Titans fan and a division hater of the Colts. Jonathan Taylor is a top 5 running back in the NFL already. He is not better than Derrick Henry. Shut up. But had he played in that game, obviously it's a whole different outcome. You can hold on to the lead, probably put up a couple more touchdowns, and you win that game. But this is embarrassing. It's embarrassing that the offense depends that much on a running back. I'm not taking anything from Derrick Henry. You guys know what a big fan of his I am. But I really felt that the offense could at least look mediocre without him, and the defense win us the rest of the games, considering they statistically broke it down to where we had the easiest schedule left in the NFL, and now we have a losing record since Derrick Henry went down. That's ridiculous. You cannot just win a Super Bowl on your running back-to-back. So it's tough. I'm still holding out hope. We win the division. Hopefully don't have to do a play-in game. And then Derrick Henry is back for the playoffs and can push us all the way to the Super Bowl. But right now, I'm so beyond frustrated with the Titans that I'm no longer holding them on my bandwagon of winning the AFC. My opinion may change.
One game?
Bro, it's not one
Well,
game.
no, it's two. No,
It's
it's two
not one
games
game.
since we
Right.
spoke. But they won, but in between.
They've lost to the Texans, and they've lost to now the Steelers. Yes,
Didn't they
they
lose?
won against
Didn't
the Jaguars. Great.
Wait. Didn't they lose to the Jets?
That was when Derrick Henry was healthy. And I will say that was also our offense's fault because they couldn't protect the quarterback.
You guys are catching the worst L's this year, bro.
So if I'm not mistaken, the Titans are 3-3 since Derrick Henry went down. And that's rough. That's ridiculous. They can play better than that. They should be better than that. Derrick Henry going down, obviously, again, best running back in the NFL. But this is ridiculous the way they're playing. They've got a few more weeks. They need to try to clinch the division. The Colts are right on their coattails. They need to get something done.
Man, it's rough, bro. Yeah. I was watching the game, and then I was like, oh, like this is a wash. Like I turned, and then later on, my wife got home and she says, "Hey, the Steelers beat the Titans." I just started laughing. I'm like, poor Nick.
Or
Um,
Nick.
yeah, we caught an L this week, but I wasn't too mad. I was happy to see us go for the fourth and goals, or the fourth and one. I'm happy to see that aggression. But we got to convert, man. We just can't just be going for these things and dropping the ball, fumbling, and that's been our mo for a minute, and so it's really frustrating, especially because I feel we had them on the ropes, and if we would have converted one or two of those possessions, not to saying like they wouldn't have scored, but I think it would have been put us in a better chance, and then yeah, Kelsey, and you can't just give those guys too many chances to beat you because they're going to figure out a way to beat you, especially with Tyreek Hill, who made a freaking amazing freaking catch. That was ridiculous. That back, the dude's arm was in the way, and it's like, excuse me, this is my ball. I lost it. I'm here to claim it. And then that Kelsey run, I wasn't too mad, only because I have Kelsey, I I have Eckler, and I have the wide receiver. What his name came in my mind twice. Um,
Tyreek Hill?
no, no, the Chargers wide receiver.
Williams? Mike Williams?
The other one.
Uh, yeah, his name is escaping. I know who you're talking about.
No, I don't know. I I have all three of those guys, so I was like, man, just put up points. If we lose, I don't want to lose in fantasy, because if you lose in fantasy and your team loses, then like you're like, oh, life sucks,
Yep. I can't even hang my hat on this.
No, no, you lost twice.
You lost twice.
Ouch. Yeah, that's the worst. That's the worst, man. You're only go like jump off a bridge or something. Like, don't do it, Nick. Don't do it.
Don't do it. Derrick Henry will play next year. It's okay.
All right. So speaking of jumping off of bridges, I know you put this in your notes about Gruden getting fired, and what can we learn from it? So,
All right. So I got to ask my co-bandwagoner. We're not going to get overly political, but can I get a little bit into culture?
go ahead and get it. Go ahead, get into the weeds, bro. Go
Can I
ahead.
get into it? Can I get into it? Am I
Go
about
ahead,
to
man.
get canceled?
Do I need to get my hat, my red hat? No. All
Let,
right.
let me let me just say this is my opinion, not Jamal. So if I get canceled, this is not my co-partner of T Bandwagon's opinion. This is just mine. But then, of course, if you chime in and agree with me, you might be burying yourself, Jamal. No,
If you rewatch this and like this section is chopped off, then you know what happened. But go ahead, bro.
it's just I however you feel how John Gruden handled things and his emails that he sent out and the things that he said, no matter how gross you feel that was, say that you worked at Walmart with this guy, would have been handled the same way. If you worked at a car dealership, would have been handled the same way, whatever. In a lot of those situations, you have to say yes. If somebody called the owner of the company, some of the names that he called, Goodell, he might lose his job. But I don't feel that it was made about the owner. I feel that it was made more about people's feelings were hurt that had nothing to do with it because he's a celebrity and he's this big name. And I honestly think that somebody, I don't know who, and I'm really curious to find out who, maybe it was Goodell himself, was out to get this guy. The fact that the emails became public, the fact that he had such a big target put on his back all of a sudden, and I stand by this. I've spoken about this with family, and I'm about to say it publicly. Had they just stood by him, maybe suspended him for a week or two, everybody would have forgotten about it in a few weeks. I am not excusing what he said. But I do think things that are said in an environment that you don't feel that you're going to be held accountable, you should only be held accountable by the people in the room or who you're speaking to. And yes, that includes an email. I understand that when you write something down, it's more damning. It's going to come after you more because now you have it in writing. That's your own fault Gruden needs to understand how stupid that was that he did. But if I sit there and I have a private conversation with you, Jamal, because we live in this culture too, right? If you and I have a one-on-one conversation, not on camera, not on social media, and you decide to tell somebody else, my life can still be ruined by it. We do live in that world, and I do think that's unfortunate. And I don't think most Raider fans cared about what he said. And I think they're kind of like, who are you hurting in this situation? You're hurting the fans. You're hurting the team. You're hurting, the players who thought they were going to have a great year. You know me. I'm the biggest Raider hater there is in the world. But they were a legitimate team before John Gruden's firing. And I say all that to get to the point of, do we need to create an environment of understanding that it may sound not fair, that your talents or what you can offer to somebody or a team or a company, whatever, outweigh your problems, then maybe you should offer a little more grace. And the reason I say it that way is I understand there have been guys across the platform of sports and being a celebrity, whatever, that weren't given that same grace. So, okay, well, if you're the guy that does the stocking, you're not a cashier. You're a little easier to get rid of, if I can put that metaphorically. When you're the coach who's got a winning record and you're being paid $100 million, it should be a little harder to get rid of you, is all I'm saying. If you're the backup kicker and you say something controversial, it might be a little easier to cut you from the team. So I'm not saying that everything that these guys do is excusable, but I hope we learn as a culture to maybe sometimes tap the brakes a little bit, give it a couple of weeks and see if it blows over. If the guy continues to have the same problems, whatever it may be, then maybe we can go, hey, man, all right, this is an ongoing problem. You had your chance.
I got you, man. And like you said, it's the culture we're kind of living in right now, where everything's hypersensitive. A pin drops and everybody stops to look to see who dropped it. And it's tough. It's tough out there. But I will say this, John Gruden, I don't think he deserved that, but he I wouldn't say he made himself a target, but he's a big target to go after. Um, the Monday Night Football, the film room with John Gruden, quarterback show that he had, his personality, his overwhelming personality, $100 million contract, playing for, coaching for, the highest popular NFL team in the league, overseeing them going to Vegas and a freaking new multi-billion-dollar freaking stadium, like all these things kind of make you a target, and you can't get. I know it's probably like years ago, but you just can't get caught on wax like that. You know what I'm saying? Like I can see if he had a conversation and he said that, that's cool, but he kind of left the paper trail, and and you just have to, I won't say be smarter than that, because it's kind of hard to see like, okay, how are they going to get me this week? And you're just walking around paranoid all day. But at the same time, like, you just can't just walk around and leave paper trails like that. If it was a conversation, let the conversation happen. However it happened, or however way you feel. I feel that we should be able to communicate how we feel freely and openly. That's why we have freedom of speech in this country. But at the same time, in this environment, you can't just leave evidence like that laying around, because people are going to say, oh, what is this? Oh, take a picture of it, put it on the internet. Oh, look, I found this receipt in Jamal's trash can. You go to this place. It's like, thanks a lot, guys. And so that's all I say. I feel bad for him. I don't think he deserved that, but at the same time, like, I think he'll be okay recovering from this. With this $100 million contract, and and hopefully have some nice investments. I think he'll be good, man. I think he'll be solid.
I agree. I think he'll be good. I think you and I are almost in the same place, just making different points. I hope we can create a way in our culture that people are a little more accountable and they think a little bit more before they talk or send out an email or a text message or a phone call, whatever it may be. Be a little bit more accountable for what you have to say. At the same time, I don't want to see a world where I'm going, I was about to say XYZ and just literally saying the words at the wrong time at the wrong moment can destroy your life.
Yeah.
I think it's okay to correct each other and hold each other accountable, especially as friends. But even if you're not friends, just, hey, man, I just really didn't appreciate what you said back there, or I didn't like that you called my boss the blankety blankety blank, or whatever. Maybe you didn't know that was my sister or something. Uh, it's okay to hold people accountable 100%, but to destroy their lives is what I have a problem with. So I think we're coming from different angles, but I think we're saying the same thing.
Well, even like, so when did we start doing this? The end of 2017 or
Yeah.
2018?
End of 20.
From
Yeah.
So 2017 to now, we're about to go in 2022. Like, and I know, like, our world, the world has got flipped, turned upside down, shaking around like a snow globe, bro. Like, everything's upside down. And so, 2017, if that happened, yeah, it would have blown over, yeah, it would have, made the headlines for a week or two and got pushed to the side. But nah, not today.
It's crazy.
Not today, man. Not today. And so, yeah, it's unfortunate, but yeah, we definitely, be careful, speak freely, speak your mind, but be careful at the same time. Oh, that's a rhyme. Oh, $2 million.
Ooh, I'm putting that one on my desk.
So moving on to our last segment, Christmas. What did you say? Merry Christmas. What do you want for Christmas? Bandwagon style. Is that like one thought, or was it two thoughts?
Just something along with the theme of the show, something that we've discussed in the last few weeks, something to do with sports, a team that you want to turn it around, a team you want to jump on their bandwagon, or a team you want to be like, hey, man, I've been a fan of this team for a long time. I want them to win, or I want this guy going to this team, whatever. Go crazy.
All right. You already know what I'm asking Santa for, man.
Okay.
Lakers, was it 19th championship or 18th?
It's 18.
18th. We tied? Wait.
We're
Celtics
tied
have
with the
six?
Celtics for 17.
I thought we were ahead of them. All right.
Oh,
Well, Lakers 18 championship, man. That's what I'm asking Santa for. And if Santa don't come through, I'm rolling up on him like my little man from the Boondocks. Santa, you gonna pay what you owe? Yeah.
have you seen the little British kid? I think he's famous on Instagram, and he says he's going to uppercut Santa for put him on the naughty list.
No, I haven't seen that. That's
Look
kind of
it
funny.
up. There's a British kid. His dad's telling him, and he's British. So he says, Father Christmas put you on the naughty list because you're not being very nice, mate. No, I'm not on the naughty list. And he tells him, no, you're on the naughty list because you're not being very nice. He goes, well, then I'm going to uppercut him like this. So if you guys can find it, it's great.
Not even
He's
punch
like
him
8
or
years old.
uppercut him. Wow, I do have skills. Yeah, that's my Christmas list. What's on your Christmas list, man?
Derrick Henry comes back, and the Titans win the Super Bowl. That's all I want for Christmas. All I want for Christmas is you. I'm super happy the Lakers, I believe at some point in the very near future, will pass the Celtics for championships. First time it'll happen in NBA history, but Titans have no Super Bowls yet. I need them to get one. Derrick Henry comes back. The Titans become unstoppable, win a Super Bowl, and they did it against the Buccaneers. That would be great.
That would be dope. That would be dope. I want to say Nick to get rid of Carr next year.
My brother-in-law, Emiliano, he says he was going to jump in just to crap on Derek Carr. So he
Hey, Carr needs to go, man. Carr's like Phillip Rivers, 2 years ago. 3 years ago.
You're a Phillip Rivers hater in the Chargers.
Yeah, I was. I enjoyed him, but he just overstayed his welcome. Sort of like Carr. Carr's really hurting the Raiders. I see it. I see the writing on the wall.
Are about to become best friends.
But it's the thing. Who are they gonna go for? Are they gonna get Mariota or are they
That's
going to
the thing is
trade and get?
quarterbacks are hard to find. Emiliano, chime in. Do you think Mariota's the answer? I'm a Titan fan my whole life, and he's a former Titan. I don't think he's the answer, but a lot of Raider fans seem to think he is.
The only other option is next year to try and get Rodgers, but you're gonna have to give up some pieces, and Rodgers want to come to a kind of a, a turnkey team where it's like, all right, let's make a run.
Well, he's a
And I don't
free
think,
agent this year, right?
yeah,
So they just got to have the money to get him here.
true. So we'll see. Maybe they can give him some of Gruden's $100 million contract.
Marcus will be a bridge for 2 years, draft young. So blow it up and start over. That's what it sounds like to me.
I don't know. They just got a brand new stadium, man. They're trying to sell tickets.
They're trying to
But honestly, they'll sell out no matter what. Raiders
Oh
are
yeah,
like
100%.
1-9. They'll sell out still because
Raider
fans
fans
are.
will still show up. And
They
like
will.
I said before, moving to Vegas was the best investment decision they could have had. Only hope, what if we don't with Carr? Not like we are winning now. Well, good point.
Yeah, true. So New Year's resolution?
Can I be cheesy with it? Watch less TV, spend more time with my kids. Which I've already been working on. But yeah, that's my New Year's resolution this year.
Gotcha.
Drop a
Nice.
couple pounds like everybody else. As cliche as that is, I'm gonna try to drop a couple pounds this year.
All right. Can I be cheesy with mine?
Can you what?
Can I be cheesy with
Of
my
course you can.
resolution? All right. I want to sell a lot of houses because, in case you didn't know, I'm a real estate agent. And hey, if you are looking to buy or sell this year, talk to your boy.
Shameless plug.
Shameless plug. I've been waiting to do that.
I love it.
Yeah, so that concludes episode 51, man. 51 is in the books. Slightly different, not how we started. You know what? I was listening to episode 1. It was pretty legit, bro. Hey, if you guys
Two
don't
is the
know,
bad one. 2 is the bad one.
yeah, don't. Well, why did
You
you
guys
say
can
it, bro?
bypass
Why?
it.
Don't even, why would you draw attention to it? But yeah, if you guys didn't know, we have a YouTube channel, Bandwagon Nation. Jump on there. I'm trying to figure out how to get these videos on there, but we have uh, uh, a pretty, big library of our past conversations, episodes. We had special guests. We got to bring in some more special guests, man. I think we get like 4 people on here. So I think this next episode we'll get some special guests in here. Yeah, check out our YouTube channel, Bandwagon Nation. Yeah, I have a few people hit me up for some merch. So I don't know, maybe we'll get some merch coming soon. Maybe that'll be
After
a
our
New Year's.
last episode, I got hit up for some merch too. I told him I'd have to look into it.
Maybe that'll be a New Year's resolution for us. Get some merch out there.
Yeah.
Even if it's just like one sweater, or something, get people rocking it. So I think that'd be dope.
I love it.
All right. Well, as always, we appreciate you guys watching. Thank you for jumping on Team Bandwagon.
Where it is okay to jump ship,
But it's not okay to lose.
jump on Team Bandwagon
And
never
never
lose again.
Hey, it was good talking to you, man.
You too, man.
Thanks for stopping in the chat. Who was that?
AB. His name's Emiliano, and don't worry, Emiliano. The Raiders do suck. I do believe that, and I'm happy to say it.
Shout out Emiliano for jumping in the chat. You guys have a good Christmas holiday, and we'll catch you guys on the next one.
Merry Christmas.
All right, now I just need to figure out how to stop this video.